Hey guys, we are back with Making Money Moves. I'm your host, Aaliyah, of course. Last week I talked about a lot of the tax updates. Last week I was here by myself. I'm also here by myself again today. So shout out to my guest Aaliyah last week for being here. Last week I talked about a lot of facts when it came to the updates about taxes. So, we have had a lot of changes with Trump and the administration when it comes to taxes, from standard deduction to him taking away, the things that you normally could write off because of work, to, just a lot of stuff. Charities, being able to give to charities and what that write-off is. So a lot of things were taken away. So now, we are in a place where it is the unknown because this hasn't happened before. So now we are trying to figure out, what will happen next year for our taxes. I know my system has a forecast, so it kind of tells me for some of the people, or for everyone, that all of my clients, kind of what you're looking at and what you are not looking at for next year. For me personally, it cut my tax bill in half. I do owe every year, but it has cut my tax bill in half personally. But it also did help small businesses. It took, 20% of our income, is not taxed. Well, tax liability is a little different. So it definitely helped us out. And some of my clients it helped, some of them it did not. But we're trying to figure out a way to, work with you guys to make sure everyone, gets what you have been getting in the past or more for next year. So don't get discouraged already if you are. We are working to get you the best situation possible. Okay. Now today, my title today is Let's Talk About the B Word. Okay, so we are going to talk about the B word. The B word is not what you are thinking the B word is. The B word is budgeting. Okay, that's what I'm giving you guys today. Budgeting. So when you think about budgeting, I think the first thing people think about, I know initially the first thing I thought about was, I can't, I have to stop getting my nails done, or I have to stop going out to eat, or I have to stop. That's not what you initially have to stop doing. So let's talk about what budgeting is first. Okay. So budgeting is the process of creating a plan to spend your money. Okay. It's the spending plan that is actually called the budget. So it's a budget kind of allows you to track your income, which is the money that comes in, and your expenses, which is the money that goes out. It kind of gives you a reality check is really what it does. It gives you a reality check on where your money is really going, what you are doing with it, where the leakage is, when you're talking about, I make $5,000 a month. I only have $2,000, $2,500 worth of bills. Where's the rest of my money going? So that is what your budget is here and what we are here to find out. So let me give you a true story. Okay. About me. Give y'all a little of my personal life today. So during the process when I was taking classes for my CPA, God willing, I will be done testing and everything passed by February. So by February, I will come back and say, I am a CPA now. Thank you guys, everyone that knows the struggle with this CPA exam. But anyway, so during the classes, I was taking, I think, 5 classes. During this time, I took a couple online, and I had classes at the actual university that I was driving back and forth every day when I got off work. I was working a full-time job. This was probably maybe a year and a half ago. I took a contract job. So when tax season was over the summer. And I literally bought breakfast, I bought lunch, I bought dinner, I bought snacks, because I was always on the go. So literally within 2 months, when I finally one day I just happened to look at my bill, and I had spent $2,500 on food in 2 months. I was like, what are you eating? And it wasn't that I was going out with my friends to restaurants. We were going to have drinks. It wasn't any of that, because if I wasn't in class, I had homework. So while I was at work, I was doing homework. When I was at home, I was doing homework. Before I went to class, probably I was doing homework. And then, because of traffic, it took me maybe, an hour or 30 minutes or so to drive. So literally, I had spent $2,500 on food in 2 months, which then made me sit down and put pen to paper and put a budget for myself together. So since then, things have been a little differently. I've not spent $2,500 on food, but when I got off track, I definitely have spent more than what I should have spent on food, just because you don't really realize how much you spend on different things until you really get started. So, and it's not that you have these big purchases, because most people don't. You're not spending $300 or $400 at a time every day when it comes to something. That's not what you're spending your money on. You literally are penny pinching. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, is what the old people say. The seasoned people, seasoned. I'll call you seasoned. So it literally is like I'm spending $5 at Chick-fil-A. I'm spending $7 at Subway. I'm spending $5 at Starbucks. I don't drink coffee, but $5 at Starbucks. I'm spending $4 when I go to Whole Foods and get something. So you see, these little things is kind of what adds up to when you're spending so much money. And you don't really realize it until you've actually done it. So that $2,500 that I spent on food, I didn't realize, like, literally that's what I was doing, but I was also spending money for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so one of the things that you probably want to look into, if you haven't started doing a budget yet, is to just look at your bank statements. Go through your bank statements and look and see what you are spending on food. Like, if you just pull 1 month of bank statements and see, highlight all of your food items, or highlight, if you go out a lot, highlight all the drink items, all of the places that you go that's excess is your leakage. Okay, is what we try to figure out, where our leakage comes from. So it doesn't make a difference how much money you make. I hear this myth that people say, I hear this myth that people say they don't make enough money, which might be the case, that you don't make enough money, but you make enough money to go out to buy the things that you want to buy. People spend money where they want to spend money versus spending money where I need to spend money and then saving the rest. That's not what happens all the time. So, people get in a place where we are now living paycheck to paycheck, which is not the goal. Okay. So the first rule of budgeting is what? To spend less than you earn. If you live below your means, then you'll always have excess money for other things. So if you're trying to pay off debt, if you're trying to buy a car, if you're trying to buy a house, if you're trying to save for a house, those things is what helps. So I know, I'll give you another personal story, but I know last week or maybe a week prior, I told you all that in my household, we have went down to one income, living off one income and paying debt off the other, and saving. And we have now gone to meal prep versus buying food every day. So I'm gonna give you a personal story, because it's a struggle right now with this food. Okay, so we instead of, mind you, I told you all before that we were doing a $100 budget for the week. You had, from Sunday to Sunday, you had $100. Sunday to Saturday, you had $100 to spend, and that was for everything outside of bills and gas for the car, because you have to go to work. You had $100 to spend on anything else, which, when you're buying food at lunch, you're buying food for this, no one's home for this, and all these things, that $100 is really not a lot. You could really eat that within 2 or 3 days, depending on where you're eating. So what we've done is we meal prep now on Sunday. So we meal prep on Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we spent $100 on all the stuff that we were doing for the meal prep. Okay. It's 3 of us in the house, that are now, 2 of us that are eating the meal prep. The other one eats whatever we cook. But anyway, so mind you, yes, I have lost some inches from this meal prep. When I tell you I was so hungry, I have been so hungry at night. It is like not a joke. So breakfast, we've had we've meal prep breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, outside of like your snacks that you get, we have not spent any other money outside of this meal prepping. food for the week that we've done. We just meal prepped again for the last couple of weeks. That's what we've been doing. We just meal prepped again this past week, and now we are, doing it again this week. We haven't spent any money so far. Obviously today's on a Tuesday, but it started on Sunday, so we haven't spent any money so far this week as well because of the meal prep. Which with meal prep, it does help you portion out the food that you're going to eat with portion sizes. And then, it's helping you like basically lose some weight or get back in shape or whatever your goal is, but it also help you when it comes to money. So we are no longer spending money on a regular. We have, now we meal prep all our meals, and, this hunger struggle at night is real. After I eat this good old dinner and have this good old snack, I just got to go to bed, because I'm hungry. So my go-to normally would have been to go get some cereal. So if you know me, you know I love cereal. You also know I love corn pops, which is not a healthy cereal to eat, but I'm still 10 in my heart, I feel like. So I've been eating corn pops all my life, okay? I'm one of those kids that used to put their cereal in a bag with the milk. And I used to want to go outside, but I used to be hungry. So I used to get a plastic spoon in the baggie, in the cereal, right, in the milk. And I used to eat it and walk outside and play with my friends. I might be a little ghetto, but that's the person I used to do, because I used to want to eat. I was hungry. But anyway, so back to this budget thing. Look, these personal stories I keep giving y'all. But okay, so back to budgeting. So I posted a it's not what I'll show you all a budget that you all can look at. So it kind of breaks down each thing that you guys have. So it gives you the things that you pay out of pocket. I'll try to post it in the actual comments later, the actual link, or if you DM me and you want the link, I'll send it to you. But it gives you the salary, it gives you your income. So all of the things for your income that you have coming in the house, and then it breaks down some of the stuff it gives you for expenses. This isn't in detail. I use a very detailed one for that I use with my clients, and the one that I use, but this is kind of like a rough draft, or this is kind of like one that's detailed but not as detailed as the other ones, but it still gives you a good breakdown, a good system to where your money is going, what you think you spend versus what you actually spend. Okay, so this kind of gives you something to put pen to paper, to write it down, so you can actually see how much money you're actually spending and what you're actually doing. So some of the things that can help, okay, some of the things that for better spending habits, I'll give you a couple of tips. One of the tips is don't buy brand name products. I know I feel like a hypocrite, guys, telling you this, but don't buy brand name products. If you buy the generic product, it is majority of the time 50% less than what the actual name brand product is. So when it comes to like medicines, when you have to get certain medicines from the store, a lot of the stuff works the same. Like I'm good at getting a lot of Theraflu when it's time to people are I feel like I'm getting sick, this and that, I get Theraflu. But I have actually bought the Walgreens version or the Walmart version, and it literally works the same. So it just kind of depends. Now I won't buy cereal generic. I will not do that just because it's not the same. It's really nasty. It's soggy. They're not corn pops. They're like corn puffs or something like that. They're not Fruit Loops. They're like, I don't know what it is, but they come in a bag and they're not tasty. If you guys have ever tried not name brand cereal, it is not the best. So certain stuff I won't do not name brand, but certain stuff I will. So that's one tip. Another one is don't use outside network ATMs. You know that you have a fee based on what bank you are with. You have fees when it comes to out of network ATMs. Like if I'm with Chase and I go to Bank of America, it's going to charge me $2 and some change or percentage of my money to be able to take out because I went to a different bank. The thing with that is, if you're going to have to do that, you need to kind of get the bang for your buck. So if they're charging you 1%, then instead of taking out $20, maybe you should take out $200. So then you don't have to go back. But then that $2 is only a percentage, which doesn't seem $2 of $20 doesn't seem of $200 doesn't seem that bad versus $2 from $20, and then you have to go back more than once. So that is something that I would look at. Also, when you're out and you're drinking, don't run up tabs, which is something that one of the tips that I have not done, but I think now that I've done some research, I probably will do it. But one of them is don't run up tabs. So with not running up tabs, you know how much you're spending every time you go buy a drink, versus if you get a tab, you get to drinking a little too much, you get tipsy, you get drunk, you want to buy everybody a drink. Then you don't really know how much money you've spent because you have a tab, and you're not just calculating, oh, I've already spent $30 and I'm kind of done for today, which might be 3 drinks depending on where you go. So it just kind of depends on what you want to spend. And then one of the other ones is don't buy lottery tickets. I know it's really easy to kind of go buy a lottery ticket, but what they said is if you don't buy a lottery ticket, and the money that you would have spent on lottery ticket, you can put into a stock. You can save that. So if you are good at buying lottery tickets, maybe whenever you go to the inside of the store, instead of buying lottery tickets, put that $1 or $2 to the side, put it in some type of jar. If you have a money jar, change jar at home. And then you can have eventually, you've saved so much that you can just buy some stock from somewhere. Nike, I think everyone is kind of waiting for Nike stock to drop, which I don't think it's going to drop, but, or if maybe it already has, I haven't really looked at it, but the last time I did before all the stuff happened, it didn't. And then in the beginning of it, it still hadn't dropped. If not, it might increase because more people are now going to buy Nike because of the situation versus not. So there might be a stock that you want to look into, or maybe even Amazon, or whatever products that you use around the house might be a stocks that you want to look into. One other thing another tip that I think that we're going to try is the water filter. So instead of you buying bottles of water, and a bottle of water, 32 case, I think is probably like $3 and some change. You probably do that maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. So instead of going to buy bottles of water, you have the water filter. It saves the planet, and you're saving money because you're not buying bottles of water every time you need something to drink. So that can help too on some of these money saving tips. But why is it important to budget? Okay. A budget allows you to create a spending plan. It makes you accountable for the money that you are spending, or the money you are lending out, or the money that you have and you have other things to do. It's holding you accountable for these things. So example, let me give you another real life story. So I sat down the other day and we calculated how much we need to be able to buy a home. So, we're going to put, you put 20% down when you buy a home. If you don't want, there's some type of maybe PMI insurance, I think, or something like that. That is you pay when you don't have 20%, which is the extra $200 or $300, which doesn't seem like much, but it's the extra $200 or $300 onto your mortgage. Unless you put the 20% down, then you won't have that. So we calculated. So we either, depending on the amount of house, depending on the size of house that we get, we need between 60 and 100,000 to buy a house. That's the 20% that we need, right? So I calculated like how much we need to put into an account for the next year in order to get, the median of between 60 and 100, the median that we need to get that we need to put in once a month. Well, if we hadn't created a budget and we hadn't set aside these other things to what we're going to do, we won't be able to get there. Because I don't have just the extra $100,000 laying around outside of what I already do every day, bills or jobs that I have. I don't have that. I don't know how many other people just have this extra $100,000 or $60,000 or 75 just laying around the house. So what we have to do is to really get serious and put pen to paper, like I've been telling you guys to do, and tell you and really see how much it's going to cost for what we have. So one of those things that I've been telling you guys about that I talked about was, everything doesn't work for everybody. But when I told you that we were going to one income, how it's been working. So far, someone told me that I should update you guys every time I come back to let you know how it's been working with this one income and this living off one income, paying debt off the other. So we have, it actually works because obviously as of right now, I'm finishing studying for the CPA. So I'm not really out. Well, I'm not out at all actually doing anything outside of studying and going to work. So I haven't been able to just go out and have a great time with people I haven't seen in a long time. But right now it's working. We're not arguing over different things. Different things are being paid down. Different things are being paid off. I think all the cars that are right now at the house, everything will be paid off by March. All the cars will be paid off by March. All the credit cards will be paid off by November. So which means that we will obviously be debt free, from some of these things, or majority of them will be debt free outside of student loans by March. So, if not before, we definitely have a very aggressive plan that we have put together to get these things paid, because you don't want these things hanging over your head. So we have that, and then we'll have student loans. So what we're doing is all these payments, these things that we paid off, like I've had credit cards that once this credit card is paid off, now the money that that I was paying for this credit card now has gone to this other car note or to this other credit card. So now when that credit card is paid off, we then, it's kind of like a snowball effect. Those two payments that we were paying for that now doubles to the other, whatever this other car note or whatever else we have to pay. So that is how we have gotten these things paid off. And so far so good. We haven't had any issues. We've also been meal prepping. So we've only spent, this week, I think we only spent $85. So we spent $100 or less every week when it comes to meal prepping for our food, which also saves us, because I'm more than likely I was spending more than that when I was going to Chick-fil-A and I was going to Grace's, because it's by the house and it's really good, to these things. So that is what we've been doing. If you need to have a conversation with me or ask some questions, I can talk to you about maybe what you can do, something that we can help with, that I can help you to do for your budget and what you guys are trying to do with your house. Just let me know. So I know I've talked about a lot of things today. We've talked about this B word for you guys, which is budget, today. So now, before I go, I'm not gonna, I've taken most of your time anyway, but before I leave, I want to let you guys know that please, thank you all for the people that watch me every Tuesday. Thank you for the ones that have subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube page, subscribe to iTunes, subscribe to SoundCloud, to iHeartMedia. We are in these places. You can catch us. You can also catch all the other episodes if you haven't seen them. You can like the Facebook page for Making Money Moves. Podcast is also there. I will have a seminar. I do have a 3-part seminar on the B word and your relationship, your first. A lot of people know about their first and we get real intimate about your first, but we're talking about your first relationship when it came to money. Okay, I want to know all your other first. All right, I don't want to know those. So that's what we are talking about. But I do again want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Hopefully, we have got some takeaways from this budget that we have, the B word that we are doing today. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. I gave you guys, a little bit. So it's kind of like real life. I am actually putting the things in my real life that I am telling you about. These are some things that I actually do. So I can tell you what works for me and what has worked and what has not worked. So I'm not just giving you a lot of rhetoric. But subscribe to my channels. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm out.